Vector's reputation hasn't been exactly spotless. Over 30 years, there have been millions of college students who attempted the knife job.
Don't work there. What really peeves me is that I got this letter and I've already been hired there for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's right, 2 weeks. That's how well they keep track of their employees. I'll tell you, I didn't make a single sale. I had my relatives do about 5 demos with me and nothing. And they said they didn't want anything and they didn't want anything. And that's the way it goes. I mean, I guess there are people who are successful at this job, and those are the people with no shame. I mean, I guess if you have no shame, you can knock on any house and sit there and get somebody to do a demo with you for 45 minutes, and you can guilt trip them into buying knives they don't really need. Well, good for you. Then you sold some Cutco, and you're a successful salesman. Oh, congratulations. But for the rest of the world, unless you have no shame, this is not the job for you.
Thousands believe that Vector's opportunity is just another scam, yet these men are proof that these statements are false.
Dude, oh man, I have nothing against them. I know that it's just ignorance, and so that's kind of a punishment in and of itself, is just being ignorant. If I were to talk to them, I would just say, dude, I would list off a couple of reasons why it's not a scam. I would tell them to shut their mouth because they ruin it for other people when they say that. Like, I ran a table today and some girl was curious, and some other girl walks up and goes, "Don't do that, it's a scam." And I mean, it was just kind of ridiculous, because what if you really like the job, you know? So I would tell them to...
I think those people are ignorant. I think they need to look into it a little bit further than just a couple scam websites. You know, just because people either sucked at the job or they didn't like the fact that they had to put a deposit down on the knives, or maybe the fact that their managers were younger than them. You know, they just didn't like that about the job, so they end up saying it's a scam. But you know what? I think they need to really reconsider the pros and cons of the job. I mean, sure, yeah, there are ups and downs, but the pros outweigh the cons every time. And you know, if people just took an extra day or two and actually maybe went to training and did a couple demos, they would notice that it's really not a scam.
You know, I think 90% of it is, you know, people are, you know, just a little uneducated on, you know, what Vector's really all about. Maybe 10% of them, you know, did the job and it didn't work out for them, and you know, people always have their opinions. I would say the job's definitely not for everybody, but most of the time I think that people, you know, think it's something that it's really not, and you know, everyone has their opinion. I used to get mad at that, and I used to be pretty angry at that and take it personal, and you know, want to fight back, but you know, it's kind of, you know, gotten to the point where, I mean, I'm pretty secure with what we do, and I know, you know, what the company's values are, and I know what my values are and the type of business I run, and you know, I just don't really let that stuff bother me anymore.
When I got my first $1,000 paycheck, I went to all my friends who told me it was a scam, and I showed it to them. I'm like, "Oh, guys, you know, I think this is a scam because for some reason my paycheck has a comma in it. You know, what's with that?" So they all shut up about the scam thing after that.
I mean, it's so frustrating when people just talk about stuff like they know everything they're talking about. They're so confident they know that I'm trying to scam people, and it's just so ridiculous, because it's a foolproof program. That's what always gets me frustrated. I don't know where they got confused. For me, it just made sense, and for other people, I don't know, dude, something got in the way, and and then they make up stuff and they make excuses. I would say stop making excuses and own up to your own laziness.
People need to try it out for themselves. They shouldn't listen to what their friends tell them.
If they had believed all the scam propaganda or never heard about Vector opportunity, their lives would have been very different. Working for Vector has been described as constant resume enhancement. There are just some skills people learn from this job that couldn't be learned from working in a department store or as a server in a restaurant.
It opened my mind to bigger and better things. Before Vector, I wouldn't say I was lost, but I wasn't really sure what I liked doing. I wasn't sure what I was good at. I mean, self-confidence wasn't anywhere. I wasn't hardly anything. I didn't have a lot, because I didn't have any reason to be confident, really. it gave me the opportunity to prove to myself that I could put in hard work, I could get better. It jump-started the entrepreneurial side of me because it taught me that I could do anything I wanted to if I was willing to work for it. And I had never really, before that I worked hourly. I was going to be there for 8 hours, I'm going to make this much money. And it opened up my mind to knowing that putting in more effort, working really hard, and just being a good person really did that for me. It jump-started that. It definitely went along with a lot of the stuff I had learned growing up. That just be yourself and be a good person. That's what people wanted to see. That's what I would get complimented for, like, hey, you did a good job, it was really nice to meet you. And I had never really heard stuff like, well, I had, but I hadn't heard it from complete strangers before. And just hearing that I did a good job, them just telling me that not everyone would do this job, when I was just, I don't know, I just kind of had fun with it. Again, it was a confidence booster, and it just opened my mind to a whole world of possibilities that I had never thought about before.
It helped me grow as a person, and it helped me become who I am today. It helped me develop the tough skin that you need to work in sales, and it helped me just understand that when you're helping somebody out, you're more likely to make a sale than if you're in it for the money. Sales is kind of funny like that, you know. When people see dollar signs in your eyes, they can tell that you only want their money. But if you sit down with somebody and you try and help them out, solve a problem, you know, that they have, they're going to actually buy from you because they're going to trust you, and they're going to believe every single word you say about your product.
Working for Vector opens doors to experience many different opportunities, from life-changing conferences to making friendships with customers that will last a lifetime, and one-on-one bonding with fellow Vector employees. To some, Vector is more than just a job. It creates memorable moments in one's life that makes the job extraordinary.
It's really difficult to pick that.
Hands down, it has to be the summer conference of 2009. My old friend Lisa Vilnitz and Jake, they had this idea of getting some beer, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
My first summer conference, unbelievable. I went back to my room, and he told me that there were going to be beers in the bathtub. And I open up the curtain and I look at my bathtub, and there's 60 beer cans in my bathtub in the hotel room, and dude, it got me. And I was like, we can't just leave them. We have to get them. We have to drink all of them, and so we did.
And boy, oh boy, I was like, all right, let's drink. Can't let it sit there. So it was me, Chad, Jake, Lisa, a whole bunch of us. We just chilled out and had a few beers.
So that was a lot of fun. I got to bond with a lot of my team, so that was cool. But again, the whole thing was just really exciting.